Is Asunción still an inexpensive city in 2026? And what is the true cost of living in the capital of Paraguay? I believe things have changed a lot in the years I've been staying here, and the time has come to provide an update on how much it takes to live in Asunción as an expat or a digital nomad. I'll tell you in advance that Asunción is no longer as cheap as a city as it was in 2021, and the numbers just prove it themselves. You don't have to trust me. If we consider inflation over the last 5 years, the total cost of living has increased by 29.4% in local currency. Furthermore, compared to 5 years ago, the Guarani has strengthened another 7% against the dollar, bringing the real increase in the cost of living to 36.4% over 5 years in US dollars. It's a value that is anything but low, but just to be clear, it means that what was once a $730 a month apartment is now a $1,000 a month apartment. In this video, I want to compare the main expenses of a single person, like most expats who come here are, and divide them into 3 tiers of spending: modest middle class life, upper middle class life, and upper class life. Starting with rental apartments, a modest but more than a good choice could be a 1-bedroom in Recoleta, Las Mercedes, or Burujuya, where we will spend between $500 and $700 based on the size and the amenities of the building per month. We will spend about $100 a month on our bills, which is internet, electricity, and water, while condo fees in Paraguay are always thankfully paid by the landlord. If we take an upper middle class choice, such as a 2-bedroom in an area like Shopping del Sol or Villa Mora, in a nice building with nice amenities, we shall be ready to pay between $1,000 and $1,200 per month. Our utilities will be actually similar or even lower, and then if on the other end we want to take a 100-150 square meter apartment in a top building such as the eminent Jade Park or Casa M, we must be ready to spend anywhere between $3,000 and $4,500 USD a month. For transport, the best choice for those who want to save is a motorcycle. Here it's full of Chinese brands, Indian brands as well, that sell very reliable bikes for less than $1,000. And these bikes are the true symbol of the typical working class Paraguayan. Very little depreciation, super cheap repairs, and low fuel consumption, adding all together, you don't even reach, say, $100 a month. The typical middle-class choice for expats, however, is Uber and Bolt. In Paraguay, they cost very little, but you'll still spend between $2 and $3 per short trips and $5 or $6 for 15 to 20-minute trips. On a monthly basis, if you use these apps to get around every day, let's say that $250 is a good estimate. The upper class does not use the apps at all because in Paraguay, both Uber and Bolt, even in the comfort version, have a truly poor experience. The cars are terribly bad and old. So for this reason, the choice remains to have a private car and often even a private driver, and here we have the choice between Chinese, European, or American brands. European and American brands tend to cost much more than in the countries of origin, while Chinese brands cost much less than what they sell for in Europe or the United States. It basically comes down to tariffs. Based on the car you choose, you can anticipate the depreciation and maintenance costs, but let's say that the fixed costs, being insurance, gas, and car parking, because in certain areas it's really hard to find parking beside the paid private parking option, you will find around $250 per month is enough. Gas costs around $1 per liter, of course. Right now it's a little bit more because the whole Iran thing, but generally speaking it's $1 per liter, and comprehensive insurance between $100 and $250 per month, depending on the vehicle. And then consider another $20 of parking per month. So if we consider the depreciation of the vehicle being anywhere around $200 and $400 a month, here the overall costs goes from $450 to $700 per month. If you always eat at home, avoiding too much delivery and imported brands that tend to be costly, then I think you can easily manage your food budget for $300 a month. If you eat 50% of your meals at home and the other 50% between restaurants and delivery, maybe choosing normal restaurants on a more daily basis and the more expensive restaurants once a week, expect to spend around $700 a month in total. A mid-range restaurant for a main course with a side dish and a coffee or a drink today costs about $12 to $13 per meal. On the other hand, if we want a more expensive restaurant, Instagrammable with a beautiful location, appetizer, main course, wine, dessert, you'll spend around $50 per person. Now, the upper class choice is generally to have a full-time cook, and maybe the same person can actually take care of the house. Sometimes they are two separate people, and maybe alternate with a couple of evenings out in a high-level restaurant when you want to make a cheat meal to the diet. A domestic employee for the kitchen will cost you around $400 a month, to which you want to add another $500 for groceries to also have a mix of imported products, and another $400 for the dinners at restaurants, totaling $1,300 a month. When it comes to leisure, we all have our preferences, but let's hit some of the most common items. Choosing a gym from a large chain like SmartFit, the membership costs about $25 per month, while in a top gym like Premier, on the other end you're gonna spend around $80 a month. For a personal trainer, be ready to spend anywhere from $10 to $30 per hour. For nightlife, let's say that a nightclub entry is generally between $10 and $15 with a drink included, while a drink at the bar is about $5 to $6 and a medium draft beer $3. An hour of renting a tennis court costs between $20 and $30, while a pool membership for swimming is about $40 per month. The average CrossFit box will charge you $50 a month, and the tickets for the movies are $8 per person in the nice areas like Paseo Shopping del Sol, but there are many promotions, especially during the week. You can often end up paying 50% less. Haircuts go from $15 to $35, $40, while a massage in a nice spa in the areas that are most frequented by expats is around $35 per hour. Health insurance. If you want a good coverage, $50 per month is enough. But you can reach up to $100 a month if you want to add extra coverage or if you are a person at risk. Medicines tend to cost more than elsewhere because the government basically does not subsidize them, so the prices are still anywhere reasonable and only slightly higher than those you'd pay in Brazil or in Europe. If nothing major happens to you, let's say that less than $40 per month are enough. Let's sum it all up and go to the totals. In my opinion, $1,500 US a month is sufficient to live a dignified middle-class life without missing out on anything. To live in comfort, $3,000 a month, and to live the lifestyle of the jet set of the inner circle of the Paraguayan families, $10,000 a month. Let's say that the luxury market is what is really missing because very nice things are marked precisely by a very small demand. And that is why when you look for something more than the average, whether it's a bottle of champagne, a golf club, a penthouse, or a nice car, you end up spending more than in Europe. An upper middle class life, however, requires more or less the same amount as the average European city with the same amount of inhabitants as Asunción. So if I make, for instance, a comparison with Rio de Janeiro, where I often go to, it's evident in Rio you are poor, then you live in a favela, that's it. While in Paraguay you can find houses worthy of the name at any price. But in Rio, a luxury apartment in Barra da Tijuca costs less than the same apartment at the Eminent in Asunción. Uber Black with a super new car costs the same as a ramshackle Uber in Paraguay, and the Tomahawk in Leblon costs the same as at Paseo La Galeria, with the difference that in Rio you are in Rio, well, without, of course, due respect to Asunción. In my opinion, today Asunción is an excellent city for doing business. It is an excellent place to do networking. It's an exceptional place for taxis and to live in South America safely. However, it is no longer the geo-arbitrage paradise it once was. Even just until last year, inflation was felt in Guarani, but the Guarani exchanged at 8,000 against the dollar, and the cost of living for expats remained very cheap. Today, with inflation at 1% and the Guarani at 6,000, it is not a cheap place by Latin American standards. In any case, it's important to remember one thing. This is what always happens when a country grows economically. It is no coincidence that New York or Hong Kong are very expensive cities but very rich at the same time. So it is a reflection of the economic boom that the country is going through, and obviously it benefits those who invest here or do business here, rather than those who live here but with a remote income that does not grow at the same speed as the cost of living. As always, from Asunción, that's all for today. I'll see you in Paraguay.